Welcome to the Crypto Campfire.
They didn't see their shadows either. Mitch and the Professor, featuring special guest Mario Price.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Crypto Campfire podcast. This is the Professor.
And Mitch.
And today we're going to be talking with Mario Price. He's the project manager at BitCash. But before we start talking to Mario, let's grab that crypto news from the Crypto Gent.
Thanks, Professor. Hello, Crypto Campfire listeners, and welcome to the cryptocurrency news in a flash with the Crypto Gent. China's Bitcoin volume on local Bitcoin hits a 2-year low. Payment startup raises $80 million from SBI Group, Visa Invest, and others. And former backed CEO and current Senator Loeffler delays disclosing assets. That's the cryptocurrency news in a flash with the Crypto Gent. And it's back to you, Professor.
Thanks a lot, Crypto Gent. Mario, welcome to the show.
What's going on, fellas? Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm stoked to have you, man. This is going to be exciting. But like I was just saying, I don't really know much about BitCash, but I'm looking forward to learning more. Kind of interested to see like how you've improved upon the Bitcoin protocol. But before we go down that road, I'd like to learn a little bit more about how you got into crypto in the first place and what got you hooked on the space.
Yeah, man, that's actually, I think that's always a cool question. As I told you guys, I've just been ripping through your podcast, just hearing all the different answers and how unique they all are. And mine is just like everybody else is kind of unique in its own. I was actually never really been in a computers tech school for that matter. I was more of an athlete kind of growing up, ended up getting a college scholarship, go play football at the Division I level, which kind of important because I had the goals of, playing big time, making it to the professional level. And man, all of a sudden that didn't pan out. And so what a lot of guys do is they end up getting into coaching, and I end up getting into college football. I was a college football coach for about 12 years. And if you don't know much about it, man, it's about 15 and 18 hours a day throughout the course of the season, no days off. And then as soon as the season's over, you're on the road, you're recruiting like crazy. And so I didn't have much time for any hobbies. It was just football and my girl, my wife. And so I ended up getting an opportunity to kind of step into a leadership role where I'm not on the field actually coaching and doing all the recruiting and stuff like that. And with that opportunity, it was some time for me to get some hobbies. And so like the first day I ever sat down without having to, be that busy, I was like, I got to find something to consume my time with. And, just end up, I don't know, somehow just ended up looking at Bitcoin. And this is like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. And I was like, okay, the concept sounds pretty cool, things like that. And, end up buying a little bit, then start getting into Litecoin, and all of a sudden start getting into Ethereum. And that's what really got me going, because I really got into the mining aspect. I know you can mine the other ones, but Ethereum was feasible because I was able to get my hands on some GPUs and got really interested into the mining aspect of things. And next thing you know, I'm learning about Spec mining, and I've just been basically addicted since that point.
That's beautiful, man. I love it. Mining is sort of like how I first got into. So I first got into it with a Butterfly Labs Bitcoin miner that I got on trade on Craigslist. And that was when, I'd heard about it long before, but I never actually got interested in it or actually bought any until it was actually late 2015. I was thinking it was 2016. It was late 2015. I got that Butterfly Labs miner on trade, and I mined a little bit of Bitcoin. And after that, it was kind of like, how do you not?
Right.
How do you not, once you get your hands on it, it's such an exciting experience. But all that aside, I did forget about it for another year and a half, almost 2 years actually. And that went from $500 to $20,000 in the period where I had forgotten about it. So it's like, you kind of look back and you're like, well, fuck. But that few cents of Bitcoin that I had mined back in the day was now $15 though. So that was pretty cool. I can't complain.
There you go. nice ROI.
When you were telling your story, it kind of reminded me of a guy we interviewed named Jason Corley with Pat Global. I don't know if you heard that episode or not yet.
Yeah.
He kind of started out on the same thing. He was actually drafted with the Buffalo Bills and then got an injury that season and never actually got to go play. So it was kind of like trying to go down through the football path, and then one way or another it doesn't quite work out. And
right.
Guess what? You're both here in crypto now, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah,
For
man.
sure, man.
Mitch, did you die?
Yeah, I did. I actually did. I'm just coming back to life. My heart just started going again. It was the whole football thing that just threw me.
You're like, shit, is it Super Bowl already? What
I
are we
know,
doing?
right? I mean, God, those football games I watched this weekend were just, interesting to say the least. So what do you like most about the crypto space? What intrigues you the most about cryptocurrency?
Like, I think the fact is that it doesn't matter who you meet, who you talk to, who you spend time with. Nobody knows it all. And it's kind of just one of these spaces that, I mean, every time I sit behind my computer or I'm on my phone, I'm flicking through them, reading Medium articles, or scrolling through Twitter, sitting in Discords or Telegrams. I'm just learning something. And it's just kind of this, I don't know, this thing that just consumes me and my time. And I'm really excited one day about mining this privacy crypto note coin. And then the next day I'm excited about some DeFi technology in the Ethereum space. And, every day it's just something else to be intrigued with and to kind of learn about. So I just really think that shows how much the sky's the limit with crypto. And so that's really one of the things that intrigued me the most about it.
Okay. What are your thoughts on how it can impact humanity?
Yeah, I mean, you start talking about borderless transactions. You start talking about literally being your own bank, which is hopefully I'll get a chance to talk about that a little bit when we talk about BitCash here in a little bit. But, the ability to truly own your finances. And, you're seeing so many interesting projects in this space that I think it goes beyond finances. But I think the most impactful way is just the ability to not be, having to be led by the government or a central banking system. I think that's really the coolest thing about it.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think, I think there's a lot of change that needs to happen in society and globally. I think a lot of change needs to happen in humanity globally. And I think what I've seen in this movement and the passions I've seen in this movement of what we call cryptocurrencies, could give us that little bump that we needed to get that rolling in a different fashion, to where it's not so much about support, but it's about bringing people to an equal playing field, so to speak.
Absolutely. There's no question. And, it's not a matter of if, I think it's a matter of when. And I think it's going to be interesting in what exactly it looks like. Is it going to be actually Bitcoin? Who knows? Is it going to be some kind of iteration of Bitcoin that maybe governments get a little bit more involved in? Who knows? But, like I said, the sky's the limit. And I think there's enough people that's interested in this space that are kind of moving this thing forward. That makes it very, very exciting. And I also, I don't know, I also kind of think that it's just a matter of time.
Oh, for sure.
So let's talk about BitCash a little bit. It's a fork of Bitcoin. Obviously, there's a lot of forks of Bitcoin out there. What are you guys doing differently? And what is your overall goal, or what problem are you trying to solve with BitCash?
So I think that one of the easiest ways to explain it is picturing yourself, you mentioned back in 2015, 2016, when you were explaining Bitcoin and mining to a friend, to your girlfriend, wife, significant other, whatever, how sometimes hard it is to get them to kind of wrap their head around it. And even sometimes to get them involved in understanding exactly what cryptocurrency is, how it works, what's the need, etc. I think sometimes when we talk to other crypto enthusiasts, the conversation flows pretty smoothly, but it's not easily as interpreted by your average Joe that might not have that kind of computer tech background type situation. And so, one of the big things that BitCash was originally founded upon was basically integrating your typical banking experience, your mobile banking experience with cryptocurrency. So that's kind of what was the forefront issue of when we started with BitCash. And the whole thing was, if you open up your wherever you keep your crypto at, you open up your Bitcoin wallet and you look and you just see a bunch of letters and numbers, and there's not really anything that says where you sent that or where it came from. And so Christian Castler, who was our lead developer, came up with this idea of, hey, I'm going to integrate transaction lines into every cryptocurrency transaction, to where, hey, I sent my buddy over in Florida some Bitcoin to buy some shoes, so I could literally write shoes for my buddy on that transaction. So whenever I went back and looked through my wallet, you're able to see that. And that, that's kind of what when you open up your checking account currently, from a mobile standpoint, you're able to look and kind of see that, just basic information. This is what I spent my money on. Oh, 970 came out. Stopped by Burger King yesterday or something like that. So that was what this was originally founded on. And we've just continued to focus on that mass adoption and finding ways to make using crypto a lot easier. So that's kind of the premise of what BitCash is about. And the problem is trying to attack is just ease of use, familiarity, mass adoption.
So what necessitated the creation of a new chain in this process, rather than just building another wallet for Bitcoin that integrated that information? Are you actually stamping that information on the blockchain itself?
Yes, that information is stamped on the blockchain itself. And what iterated was that was kind of, like I said, the forefront of it. But it has moved into a lot of other things, a ton of other features that I kind of get into right now, I guess. So with that being said, if I ask you right now, what's your Bitcoin address? The reality is neither one of you could probably give me a answer without finding your phone, get on the computer, and there's no way I'm going to sit down and write it down. So one of the next things that we integrated was nicknames onto the account. So the minute that you get your BitCash wallet downloaded or use the web wallet, you sit down, you say, hey, I'm going to, my crypto nickname on Twitter and on our Discord is Coach Cryptos. So you type that out, boom, it stamps to the blockchain. And so from there on out, when I receive BitCash, I'm able to do so by just saying, hey, my address is Coach Cryptos, just like a Twitter name, throwing it out like that. So that was kind of one of the next very easy, very familiar things that we've integrated to allow for people to use that. And then we took it a step further and said, where do people spend most of their time these days? Social media, right? So one way or another, you're pulling out your phone, checking Facebook, Twitter, something like that. And so we made it to where you can easily, through the wallet, click a couple buttons and be able to send transactions via Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. And so we're just finding, like I said, these very, very easy use cases that, meet people where they are.
So let me ask you this. In your opinion, what makes someone rich?
What makes someone rich?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very interesting question.
That's a deep one.
It is a deep question.
Yeah. Rich and wealthy, I would term differently. I know you didn't ask about wealthy. I would say rich is just financially having a lot of money, having a lot of possessions. I think, like I said, I know you didn't ask about wealthy. I think wealthy is having that and still being a good person, and maybe not necessarily having the most money, but having a happy family at home, all that kind of stuff. So
where it's not necessarily monetarily attached.
Correct.
Okay. No, I'm down with that. No, you're right. I mean, I guess there's two different ways. Some people will say, "Are you going to be rich?" I like to say, "No, I plan to be wealthy because I want to be a balance of things." Right. I want to have money to give me the freedom to do what I want to do. I want to have the heart to do the right thing with what I can do, and to build that future that's not just based on monetary value and not just based on possession, but by what we can do with those to enrich the lives of others. And this whole thing has changed so much for me in the last 2.5 years. My whole outlook on so many different things has become a lot more philosophical in some regards. And I think it's okay. It seems to work for me, and it makes my life feel more fulfilled at this point. So yeah, sorry, I rambled.
No, that's awesome, man.
It's good for you. Good for you. One more thing on BitCash that I'm kind of curious about. Where are you going in the future with this? I know you kind of told us a little bit about what you have implemented now and where it was founded on. But again, what's your overall goal? Like, what long term, what do you see this doing, and how do you see it impacting the crypto space entirely?
For sure, man. And so it's just kind of our tagline. If you go to choosebitcash.com, you see at the top, it's the world's most usable cryptocurrency. I think that's legitimately as as big of a goal as that sounds. I think that is what we're aiming to do. And the reality of it is, like, I even grazed the surface of what kind of features that we have. That was kind of the beginning of things, but I maybe speed it up so it makes a little bit more sense of kind of where we're going in terms of direction. But just in terms of integrating banking features, we have transaction logs, account nicknames, be able to create electronic statements from your wallet that look very familiar to what you get from your banking account, and having to integrate accounting software, to make it a great alternative to other currencies, because you're actually able to function with it, not just have all these letters and numbers that money's going in and out, but you don't really know where it's coming from unless you kind of remember. So just been able to take some of that's been the starting point. But integrating the social media, that was kind of a huge deal for us. But I say one of our biggest things that we've done here is we've integrated this thing called a BitCash stable. And obviously stable coins have kind of been one of those popular topics here over the last year or so, whatever. And what we've done is created this an algorithmic mint and burn protocol where we're able to create stable coins on the BitCash blockchain itself. And so we actually have 3 currencies on the blockchain, on the same exact blockchain. One is BitCash, the other is BitCash dollar, and the third is BitCash gold. And essentially they're kind of all backed by each other, rather than, some of the issues you saw with Tether, where there's money not actually there supporting it, that's USD backed. And, we don't have a vault of gold sitting around. What we've done is took the $1 USD and say, for instance, you have, let's say BitCash worth 50 cents. It's not currently, but let's say it's worth 50 cents. You got 2 BitCash. You click a button in the wallet and we're converted to 2 BitCash dollars, 2 stable coins right there within the wallet. They converted to 1 BitCash dollar. And then let's say a month later, the price of BitCash drops down to 1 cent. Now that would suck, obviously, for us, but let's say that, then you would be able to maybe convert it back to BitCash, and you would generate 100 BitCash. And it kind of works the same way all the way to gold. So if you wanted to find a new way to create a store of value, actually, if you want to buy gold, you necessarily don't have to physically go and buy ounces of gold. You can do it through the BitCash blockchain. So that's kind of been something that's been really unique, and we're starting to see a lot of people, use it for store value. We've partnered with, about 10 or so little companies that accept crypto, and have allowed them to integrate accepting BitCash and BitCash dollars as a payment. We have about a little over 2.5 ounces of gold right now that people are storing on the BitCash blockchain. So it's very, very unique, and a pretty cool feature. But like I said earlier, gives people the opportunity to kind of be their own bank. If they want to transact using USD, it's all right there within their wallet.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to kind of playing with it a little bit. I'll get that wallet downloaded and give it a shot and just kind of see how it goes. It sounds like you're heading right down the path of what we really like to see, which is usability. And we all know that that's a big problem in the crypto space right now.
Yeah, for sure.
That said, I'd like to know if you still have a snake living in your tree.
Oh, so you must have scrolled through my Twitter account.
We have a good research department. She takes care of us.
Well, I will say that snake is probably still in that tree, but I don't live in that house anymore. I moved shortly after that, man.
Was the snake any influence in that decision?
It was a huge influence. As a matter of fact, really? I lived in Louisiana at one point in time, back when I was coaching, and we had it was nothing. It turned out to be just a rat snake, which those things get extremely long. And it was in our front yard. I almost stepped on it, taking my dogs out on the walk. And we moved out that house within a month, and then basically had that same incident. That was in a house in Texas, and we moved out that house within a month. So, yeah, if we want to move, I tell my wife we want to move, just throw a snake down somewhere, and I get excited.
Yeah, right. Nice. Hey, bring over that snake you got. Yeah, we want to get out of here.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. So if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I would probably say, as I just welcomed two little girls into the world here recently, I would probably say the ability to kind of manipulate time.
Okay. Congratulations on that, by the way.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
That would be a very amazing power.
Yeah, no doubt. I think, just being able to kind of pause and rewind, and the old movie with Adam Sandler called Click, where he's always fast forwarding through the boring parts. I think I probably learned a little bit from that. I probably wouldn't use that fast forward button too much, but just savor some of those moments that tend to happen a little too fast.
Right. That was a good movie. That was kind of
yeah.
like even I think I was in high school when I watched that, or maybe just after high school. But even at that age, it still gets you a little bit. Yeah,
for sure, man. I mean, it's Adam Sandler. I know he's very popular. He's not one of my favorite actors, so I was a little reluctant to watch it. But the premise of the movie is actually really good. So, put things in perspective. Hit the rewind button, go back to late 2017, or was it 2016? Late 2017. Catch some of that 20K Bitcoin action.
There you go. Kind of stuff. Yeah, I would go back to when I first heard about it, when it was like, I don't even know how much it was. I didn't even get that far.
Right.
Like we always say, had I bought even $5 worth of Bitcoin, as soon as it hit, 2 cents, if it was 1 cent, I probably would have sold the shit. So what does it matter anyway, right? Kick myself all I want. I wouldn't still have that Bitcoin. There's no way.
Right. Yeah, I always tend to play that game. Like there's zero chance I would have held it all the way to 20K.
You're right. I had not gone through the 2018 bear market yet. I did not have balls of steel in the crypto place yet.
Right. Yeah. I tell you that is pretty cool though. Is anybody that kind of went through some of the bear and bull markets, that both of them, how just unfazed they get about what goes on a day-to-day basis with the prices. I mean, I just to the point now, I used to live on Blockfolio on Delta app, and now I just really don't care.
Yeah.
I just keep stacking. That's
exactly. All. It's like, oh my God, Bitcoin's going down again. Okay.
Whatever. It'll go back up eventually. We'll get through it.
Exactly. Now I just got to figure out where I want to buy more back in, buy more in.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, that my first kind of go around in it, when I was shooting up, and then it would drop $2. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta sell. And just how much you kind of mature in the space is pretty cool.
Man.
I was gonna say, we do have a ton of features. There's one more thing I just definitely would like to hit on, because this is really
absolutely not. No, your time's done.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. You're right. This 27 minutes has been agonizing. I don't want to hear about your project anymore. Get the hell out of here.
No. But
fine, okay.
In terms of how we've continued to kind of advance it, is one of our major on-ramps is a website called PeerQ, PEERQ.com. And basically, it's a Quora type site where you're able to ask questions, or basically put out a simple bounty and reward anybody that either answers the question correctly, or is able to assist you with a bounty, and click a button, reward them in BitCash. And kind of interesting, because it doesn't really fall in some of the more financial transaction type things that that are more notable within the wallet. But I think what we were looking for in terms of building that site, and right now, if you go visit it, it's kind of in beta right now. We're actually getting a major revamp to add some cool UI and stuff like that. But what we were hoping to accomplish with PeerQ is a very easy on-ramp into crypto, the space itself. And by doing that, we just said, hey, people are on Google, they're asking questions, they're sometimes they're just searching for ways to earn Bitcoin. What if we made this very, very simple way where you logged in, created an account like any social media platform? We had a built-in wallet. You do a bounty. You go to Coach Cryptos' Twitter page, retweet my snake picture, and I click a button and reward you a couple BitCash. How cool would that be? So we kind of built that, and it actually picked up some significant traffic amongst our community. Right now, we hadn't wrote all the SEO stuff up until we really get the site, like I said, looking visually appealing, and kind of built it for your average Joe to say, hey, I got a cool way to earn some BitCash. And what we did after that was integrated a way where they could take that BitCash and actually spend it to buy gift cards. because, once again, if you're early on in this crypto thing, I know for me and you, it's like, yeah, I can hop on on Binance real quick and make a couple trades, yada, yada, yada. But for somebody new, it's like, yeah, so I got to make a password and this, and I got to do this, and I got to have 2FA. And, so I know having an exchange doesn't seem like rocket science, but going there and ask my wife to kind of take BitCash and sell it to her would be a tall task. So made an easy off ramp for the BitCash as well by allowing people to basically use that BitCash to easily like kind of off ramp that crypto onto a gift card. And like I said, it's just kind of hopefully our unique way for anybody that's on Google searching for a way to earn. You got all these cool sites like Lolly and these StackSats and Coinbase Earn and all these things where you can go do a couple little things and earn some. So we wanted to find a unique way, easy way, to kind of help facilitate that mass adoption and get people integrated into using it.
No, I love that concept. It's impressive where you guys keep improving and actually making things easier and making them better. So I have another question. Tell us about this podcast you did. You hosted a podcast called Proof of Work?
Yeah, man. So as I was kind of climbing through my mining ranks, I was like, man, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Let me make a podcast about it. And whenever I'm learning, just kind of share with people. I did a podcast in my actual day job, and so it was relatively easy for me to kind of get it going. It wasn't as well put together as what you guys put out by any means. It was kind of me on my phone recording on Anchor, but just talked about what I was spec mining, some of the cool stuff I learned, ways to maybe tweak my GPUs, things like that. And it was pretty cool, man. I don't remember how many episodes I ended up doing when it was all said and done, but I got about maybe 20 or so in, and by the end of that, man, I had a Discord with a bunch of Proof of Work podcast listeners, or you got in there and we just talked about what was going on, helped them troubleshoot stuff that I knew how to troubleshoot, learned a lot from them. So it was strictly about mining. And then, like I said, about halfway through there, I won't say it got very, very popular, but it got popular enough to where some of those new spec mining coins that were coming out were willing to hop on the podcast with us. So we had a few guests come on and we would talk about their project and, talk about their mining and things like that. So it was definitely fun. It just ended up being such as you guys probably know, it ended up being so time consuming that it just wasn't worth it. And I wasn't asking for payments or anything like that. So it was just like, play with my daughter or record another podcast today. So,
right.
I ended up hanging that up.
It is a lot of fun though. I mean, I don't know. What kind of time were you spending to record a podcast,
Well, the reality of it was, it was kind of a weird deal. I was doing it by myself. And at that point in time, it was like, hey, it's Friday. I can record. If I want to record again on Sunday, I'd do it like that. And then if I want to wait 2 weeks, I'll record the next one. And it was pretty easy. Then I ended up getting pretty tight with EtherGem. I don't know if you're familiar with them, some micro cap hash project or whatever. And ended up getting pretty tight with their main dev. And he was like, man, hey, let's do it. Let's do it right. I got a buddy. We're going to do it every Sunday. We'll record in the mornings. We'll get these guys on. And, so end up kind of having him help me probably more than what I needed to.
Okay. And
then that's when I really got worn out because it was more, we were trying to schedule so many people and make it legit and all that kind of stuff. And I wasn't just kind of shooting off my hip anymore. And that's when it became a little overwhelming for me.
More work and less fun.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's why we still do it the way we do, because we started this just to have fun. It wasn't a job. We both had our own careers, and we're not like, let's start a podcast and hope we get sponsored right away and start making a bunch of money. It was just, we went on a friend's podcast and it was exciting and fun, and we're like, hell, let's just do this. It's really hard to communicate on Twitter, so let's do a podcast exactly. And we can talk to some of our friends and see how it goes. And it just turned out to be amazing. It was so much fun. Right. Like neither of us had any idea what we were doing. Like our first podcast was literally each of our second podcast.
Yeah, ever. It was crazy.
But once you start doing that thing that you love, you kind of pick it up and you realize it's exciting and it's fun. And then, I have a bad habit of turning fun into work. I really do. Right. I always do, and I can't help it. But so far, even though this has kind of picked up a little bit and, there's a little more work involved with it, it doesn't feel like work yet. It's still exciting. And I think that's because we're still doing it for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I would love to see, I mean, you've got a lot of great ideas, and I think you're a super smart dude. So if you get excited about doing podcasting again, you wanted to start your own, definitely let us know, because I'd love to hear some of your insights on the things that you want to think about.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, that's great to hear, man. I actually, as a side note, I did a little work for, I'm not sure if you're familiar with another small cat called Zelle, formerly known as Zelle Cash. But
oh yeah,
I worked for the team there for about a year or so, and me and one of their marketing guys, a guy named Goose, who does a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like that. We ended up making a podcast for them, and it just turned right back into the same thing. It was, oh man, I got to hop on and interview this guy from Bandits, and next day we got this guy, and it was just like, holy mackerel. So yeah, if I can definitely get back in a space where I could kind of, beat to my own drum a little bit, I definitely would love to do it, because it was fun, man. It was really fun just meeting all the different types of people, which you guys know. It's just hearing all the different backgrounds and experiences and projects. It's awesome, man.
I think when you're doing them and not with a goal in mind, if you don't have goals, if you don't have expectations, you just do it because it's fun, and you continue to do it because you're still having fun. I think is when it doesn't feel like work. It's when you start putting expectations on your future, expectations on where you want to see, like, what do we want this to become in the next year? Fuck, I don't care. Let's just keep it what it is. I mean, if it becomes something else, so be it. If not something else, but if it becomes more, then so be it. But we're still going to go at it as we're just having fun.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's why it's going so well for you guys, because it's easy to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Because you can tell you guys are having fun. You make the guests comfortable, all that kind of stuff, man. So you guys got a heck of a thing going.
Thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. We tend to work pretty good together. Go ahead, I'll shut up.
Yeah, it kind of works out pretty well, except for sometimes.
Yeah, right. Like now.
So I'm kind of curious. You said you saw you witnessed a dev rage quit on the project.
Yeah,
I don't know if you wanted to throw it out there who it was, but I'm curious what project it was, or at least hearing the story, because it sounds a little.
Yeah, man, it was. It was kind of a weird situation when I wrote the tweet. I guess I was probably a little irritated with the situation, so I made it sound worse than what it was. I do have some empathy for the guy. So the project is Equilibria, which is interesting. It's a small cap. It's something I spec mine, a little kryptonite project, which basically was attempting to do some of the same stuff that we're doing, just on a private blockchain. And what I'm referring to is the mint and burn process, being able to have these Equilibria dollars and have the cryptocurrency itself. So Dev was very, very talented, young guy. I don't know how much time you guys ever maybe spent spec mining, but you would go through those projects, and if somebody took out a huge pre-mine or had a huge dev fee, a lot of times that would be a kind of a red flag for you to say, I better watch out, because this dev might dump on us if the price gets rolling, something like that. And so basically he didn't take out a pre-mine or a dev fee type situation. And so it was hard to fund the project. And so it was kind of a weird deal, because the project just was kind of stalling a little bit. I kept it with it often. I minded. It was a quote unquote competitor to us to a certain extent, but I mean, heck, I'm all for the space. So if they did a better job than what we did, hell, I would, give them kudos. But was keeping up with them and kind of was stalling out. And then one of their project manager type guys, he wasn't a dev, he ended up quitting and ended up dumping all his coins. And so the price kind of shot down. And I was really like, man, should I go buy a huge bag of this stuff right now, knowing it's going to kind of come back around? And the response I was seeing from him wasn't really great in terms of just, okay, hey, boat's still moving. It was nothing really like that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to wait before I spend a bunch of money on this. And then another guy quit shortly after that. And then basically put out a big Medium article saying, hey, look, I got to pay my bills. And I know you guys want me to deliver, but here's what I'm going to do. I need, 1 BTC. You guys can donate to this address, or you can donate Monero, donate this. And it was kind of just a weird way to ask for funding at the front of the project. And a lot of people were like, why don't you institute a dev fee into the blockchain to where you get Equilibria? And obviously it'd be an incentive for you to work hard to help the price pump, whatever. And as you do that, then, you're paying yourself also by pushing the project. And he was very reluctant to do so. And I think a lot of that dialogue, a lot of people were attacking him, and he just said, F it. And it's like, I'm done. And it was the end of the project. So it was kind of it was some lessons to be learned in that. Like I said, I do feel bad for him because, I think crypto ended up just kind of burning them out.
That's kind of a sad story to hear, really, from not only the community side, but also the team itself, especially that one particular guy. If it sounds like everybody else bailed on him, and then, that's
Right.
got to be a rough situation. The crypto space is definitely taking a toll on a lot of people mentally that have gotten, I'm just going to say it straight out, are way in over their heads.
Right.
You got these kids who have come out and they forked a coin, in 2014 and had no idea what they were doing. They're just fucking around playing with stuff and having a good time. And,
Right.
Some of those are real smart guys too, though. They're building these projects, and some of them turn out to be really good, and they start getting this massive amount of following, and they're sitting on, millions of dollars in coins, and they have no idea how to handle it. And then you start looking at some of the ICOs, and you got the same thing where now you've got people realizing that they can fundraise for a project, and people are going to buy into it as long as you tell them a good story about what the project's going to do. And that's less of a case now, but 2 years ago, you could have made $20 million on just about anything. If you really wanted to, you could put an ICO out there, and as long as you had a good looking website and white paper, you'd have been making crazy bank. And so you got these guys that have never probably even managed anything before in their life and are just a good dev, and all of a sudden now they're saddled with the responsibility of managing $20 million in funding for a company. And I can't even imagine what those guys are going through in their head. But at the same time, it sucks for the community too, but that's all part of this space maturing is, we all make mistakes. We all learn from them, whether that's investing or whether it's getting in over your head or whatever it is, we make a mistake in crypto one way or another. And
right. And that's, it's a, when you step back and maybe look at it from a big picture point of view, it's kind of crazy to a certain extent. It's people pouring a lot of money into some of these projects because they like a pretty white paper, pretty website, and all of a sudden, he's not the only dev that's hopped out of a project, and he didn't do it in a scammy way. It just, he got burnt out. But you see guys scamming left and right, and it's just crazy to think, some of these guys that maybe have gotten burnt financially. I'm sure they sit down and talk to their wives and like, I just gave this guy, $10,000 essentially, and just said, hey, make this be, go 2 times, 3 times, and then he just disappeared, and I know it doesn't necessarily work like that, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, when you're talking to an average Joe, that's how they're looking at it. And it's like, it's a crazy space that we trust, we trust so many people to do their jobs and just so blindly, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the few spaces where this much money comes ahead of any actual use case.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's a whole different business model that nobody is accustomed to. There's a lot of cases where most of this shit needs to be built before it's put out there. There's some cases where it makes sense to fundraise up front. And in most cases you need something, but you don't need, upwards of millions. Most cases you can get a business off the ground with not very much money,
Right.
But
you
put these really lofty goals out there and they think that money is going to solve them all, and it doesn't. So, okay. So I don't know if you have a pet or not, but you can still answer this. Finish this trending hashtag. My pet secretly wants to
break into my refrigerator.
Nice.
That would definitely be mine.
Nice.
You got Spuds and McKenzie over there or what?
No, I got a dog that kind of has their own room in the house because has some stomach issues over the years or whatever. So we kind of keep them either outside or in that room, or if they're playing with us, so it's like, hey, we're right here, we're looking at you, we're not turning our eyes to you type deal. And just any time I do turn my eyes, take my eyes off for a second, she's trying to bust into that refrigerator, man. And we feed her actually like fresh chicken and stuff because of her stomach issues, and so she knows where all the food is, man. So that's all.
Nice.
She's just plotting. That's it. Every time I see her, she's just plotting to get in there.
It's awesome. It's like my Labrador in our garbage can. We got one of those fancy garbage cans with the locking lid.
Yeah.
Some bitch still, he goes and checks it every once in a while just to see if it's unlocked. It's like, come on, man.
There you go.
My parents got the next level fancy garbage can that you wave your hand over and it opens.
Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very foolproof for a dog. For sure.
It's not. You just sniff the shit and it opens.
Right.
That garbage can. All right, I'm gonna throw it. I got a vent.
Uh-oh.
Everybody that talks about reduce, reuse, recycle, they're all about the environment and all this shit, but everything they damn well buy needs batteries. You're killing me. No, man, seriously, this has been a lot of fun. Mario, it's been awesome having you on our show. Who'd have thunk that, what was it? What's it been now? 9 months ago, we would have been saying our show. And it's pretty surreal. And to have some pretty amazing guests come on our show has been off the hook. And I don't think we've not had one amazing guest yet. Everybody that comes on our show is just so much fun to talk to. And I think it's all because we all click, it's all about talking about what you're passionate about. And
right on.
We all have a passion, right?
No doubt.
Sir, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Slap MS next time you see him.
I got you.
Tell him Mitch said hey.
Oh, for sure, man. Well, hey, I certainly enjoyed it, man. Thanks so much for having me on. I enjoyed talking to you guys, talking about the project, talking about all the other stuff we ended up discussing. So I appreciate you guys, man.
Definitely, man.
Hell yeah.
We're looking forward to talking to you some more, and I'm really looking forward to checking out your old podcast episodes. So I hope you drop that link in the tweet. And
hopefully we got a long-time listener out of it.
I hope so.
For sure, man. Yeah, you definitely did, man.
Oh, yeah, man. You rock.
Right on, brother.
Awesome.
Have a good night.
All right, fellas. Later.
Take it easy.
Talk to you soon.
Man, that was an amazing podcast.
It was.
I had a great time, and we learned a lot. And I'm also looking forward to hearing kind of how his podcast went, because he's got a cool voice too. So I think he probably did a nice podcast. Forward to checking out.
Yeah, I like the idea of there's nothing wrong with people being able to earn cryptocurrencies statically to passively to have that extra coinage coming in for doing little things, just being passive income of cryptos. Right. And when he talked about doing that with the BitCash, I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
So, definitely going to look into this project some more. And who knows? Matter of fact, I think it's been quite a few months since we've thrown $10 into our favorite cryptos. So maybe we should throw $10 at BitCash and see what happens. You know what?
That's not a bad idea, because we haven't asked about what did we call it?
No, I don't even remember.
I don't even know. I can't remember. That's
it was a crypto that's to invest in. I think it was
like your sleeper token, and then we called it something else. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I will kick that off with a BitCash purchase. See how that goes, and then maybe next episode we'll go ahead and ask our guest what their favorite sleeper token is. Now that the market is turning around, we might have people with their mind back on the market. So this might get us some interesting answers. And I'm looking forward to see what new projects are popping up after the last year and a half of this bear market, because those are going to be the ones that have been putting in the work, and I'm excited about that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. It's been a good run, and you know what? We're still here. So
are we, though?
That's got to tell you something.
We're physically here, but are we still here?
Yeah, most of the time. All right, guys, thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the show. As we say all the time, we do this for you, the community. It's all about community to us. We appreciate every ounce of your support that you continue to give on a daily basis. You blow us away on Twitter. Your comments, the feedback is just amazing. So thank you so much. A big shout out to CoinFlip, ATM for supporting us as well, and Brinker Group. So, guys, have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Take it easy.
Peace.